At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the Town of Lexington Council meeting. This meeting is being held at Town Hall Monday evening, August 19th, 2019. This meeting is being broadcast live and will be replayed several times over the next week on the town's cable information channel 1301 and will also be available for viewing on the town's website. I'm Steve McDougall, the Mayor of Lexington, and this time I'd like to introduce my fellow council members. To my left is Mayor Pro Tem Hazel Livingston.
Good evening.
To her left is Council Member Todd Carnes.
Good evening.
To his left is Council Member Steve Baker.
Good evening.
To my right is Council Member Kathy Maness.
Good evening.
And to her right is Council Member Todd Lyle.
Good evening.
This time I would like to welcome Pastor Marlo Brayboy from Lexington Church of Christ to please come forward and offer invocation for tonight's meeting. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you. Good evening, council members and everyone else that's here on this evening. My name is Marlo Brayboy, and I am from Lexington, South Carolina. I'm retired Army, so it's good to be here this evening.
Thank you very much.
If you will pray with me.
Yes, sir.
Dear loving Father, first let me say thank you on behalf of all those who are gathered here this evening. Thank you for the many blessings. Thank you for life itself. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work. God, thank you for your continuous love. I pray for the local leaders here in particular, for the assembled council tonight. I am asking that you will graciously grant them wisdom, a sense of welfare and true needs for the people, a keen thirst for the justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, personal peace in their lives and joy in their tasks. I pray that the agenda set forth on this evening, God, please give them the assurance to what will please you and what would benefit those who live and work around this lovely city of ours. It is in your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Good. Thank you, Pastor Brayboy. Appreciate you being here with us this evening. At this time, I'd like to ask Councilmember Todd Lyle if he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please stand. Thank you, Todd. I will call this meeting to order at this time. We will move right into deletions on the agenda. Are there any items to delete on tonight's agenda? Yes, there is one. We had
Business number 7.
new business number 7. Thank you, Ms. Maness.
Yes, and I would, if I may.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Agenda we were going to have a presentation downstairs, but we're going to go downstairs later. So I would like to request that the presentation from the Communities in Schools of the Midlands be able to be held up here at this meeting.
Very good. Any objections to that change in the agenda? Hearing none, we will make those changes. At this time, I have a vision plan update for August 2019. I'm very pleased to announce the Lexington Live third free fall concert series lineup. September 12th at 6:30, we're starting the season off right with the Swinging Medallions. You all remember Double Shot of My Baby's Love. So that'll be playing live at the amphitheater on September 12th. September 19th at 6:30, we welcome the Mighty Kicks. September 26th, welcome back Tokyo Joe. October 3rd, we'll be the Big Time Band for the first appearance at the Ice House Amphitheater. October 11th, we move the concert to Friday night so we can join the Lexington County Fire Department in a fundraiser. So you buy a dinner cooked by the firefighters, and the proceeds will go to the Jeff Chavis House. Performing at 6 o'clock will be a band called Southside Station, a 5-piece band with non-stop exciting show. So if you would, please join us October 11th. That will be a Friday night. And there's more in addition to the fall concert series. You can also join us on WOMG 98.5 for a free concert on August 30th at 7 o'clock with the 70s and 80s rock tribute performed by the Interstate Exiles. And on September 20th, the Ultimate Journey Tribute Band Resurrection is back Doors open at 6 o'clock with Interstate Exiles as the opening band. Tickets are $19. You don't want to miss this event. We have placed a new emphasis on the town's social media sites so everyone can stay informed about all the events by visiting icehouseamphitheater.com or the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages of the Ice House Amphitheater. Just 6 more weeks to visit the market at the Ice House each Saturday through September 28th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you haven't been lately, you need to check it out. We average 30 vendors on each Saturday at the market at the Ice House, and attendance has averaged anywhere from 150 to 200 people per day. Rebranding and moving the market has had a great response from our citizens. Thank you, council and staff, for all the ideas and efforts that went into the market this year. I think it was a positive change for the market, and we look to continue to grow that market at the Ice House Amphitheater. That is the vision plan update for August 2019. At this time, we will hear a traffic update from Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The new Jenny Lane and I-20 exit ramp improvements are now complete and have provided additional capacity and improved safety at these 2 intersections on 378. Thank you for your patience over the last several months as we worked on this project to better serve you. And yes, it is a great improvement, and you are a lot safer because I use that regular. Construction is making progress on the new deceleration lane in front of Walmart and Chick-fil-A on 378 Sunset Boulevard. Please use caution in and around this area. The next traffic committee meeting will be held on Wednesday, September the 25th at 8 a.m. in the 3rd floor conference room of Town Hall. Finally, remember tomorrow is the new school year beginning. There will be a large increase in traffic on our roads. Please use extra caution and allow more travel time to reach your destination over the coming weeks as everybody readjusts. And as always, if you're aware of any traffic signal issue, unsafe roadway situation, or pothole that needs to be repaired, please call 358-7273 and let us know.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. At this time, I will do a vision plan, an executive session report on tonight's executive session we had downstairs. We had 3 legal issues, 1 issue regarding pending litigation, 1 issue was advice regarding 2 town ordinances, and 1 was advice regarding agenda items. We had 3 contractual issues, 2 downtown economic development issues regarding a sewer contract and the farmers market contract. No vote was taken in executive session. Do I have a motion to ratify the mayor's executive session report?
So moved.
Ms. Manus makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem seconds the motion. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is, report is adopted. Thank you. At this time, we will move into our presentation. We want to have that presentation here tonight instead of making you wait and go back downstairs. So Ms. Letitia Tate Walker, Director of Development, Communities and Schools for the Midlands, please come forward to the microphone. State your name and your address for the record, please. Nice to have you.
Thank you so very much, Mayor and council members. I do have some folders.
Okay, absolutely.
Yes, my name is Latasha Tace Walker, Director of Development for Communities and Schools, located at 2712 Middleburg Drive in Columbia, South Carolina.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah, you want to pass those out?
sure.
Okay. Ladies, if y'all would like to introduce yourselves, feel free. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tanika Epps. I am the CEO for Communities and Schools of the Midlands.
Very good. Nice to see you.
Hi, my name is Jamila Green, and I'm the site coordinator. I'm a site coordinator at Communities and Schools at the Columbia High School location.
Very good. Thank you. Nice having y'all tonight. So the floor is yours. We will give you 5 minutes to have your presentation, and then we'll take questions at the end.
Okay, great. I'm not alone, as you can see, but if some of you are not familiar with our organization, Communities and Schools of the Midlands, we're actually a dropout prevention program, and we have been providing services for about 30 years in the Midlands. And our services include supports to the public schools. Some schools are in rural areas that have issues with their students not coming to school, so attendance rates are low. The dropout rate is being detected in early earlier children in elementary school. And some of our services are involved with identifying what those are. And we're going to have Ms. Jamila Green that's going to tell you a little bit more about how we do the work and her role, how it's helping the public schools, and our CEO to just give some quick statistics on how we are solving a national problem right here in South Carolina.
Very good.
Good evening again. So as Ms. Tace Walker just said, we are a national dropout prevention. We are one of the top in the country. What we do is go into schools and provide support for them. We try and provide wraparound supports. So we focus not only on the academic need of the student, but also the non-academic needs. We do understand that sometimes there are things that are happening outside of the school day that affect directly what's happening inside of the school day. So we provide support to those students as well as to those families. We connect them with community resources to help provide and support them in those particular areas. When we go into a school, we look at the entire needs of that school. So it's not just supporting those individual students that we case manage, but we place a site coordinator into the schools so that they're there every day with the teachers, with the student, and they can be that direct contact for them and get that immediate need taken care of. So when we go in, we do a support plan with the schools. We do a needs assessment first, just to identify what the community sees as the greatest need for that particular school. From that, we identify a couple of goals. It may be an attendance goal. It may be to help increase the academics. It may be a literacy goal that we set for that school. And then we provide our tiered support. So we have 3 levels of tiered supports. Tier 1 is the one where that's the whole school gets supports. So any service that we provide, any student in that school has access to. An example of that, at the high school, we do a FAFSA night. So any student that is interested in going to college and needs assistance with applying for financial aid, they have the opportunity to come and participate in that. We also have clothing closets in all of the schools that we serve. So this helps with students that are being put out of class for dress code violations. Instead of them missing that academic time, they come and spend maybe 5 minutes with us, get something out of the dress closet, and they can return back to class. So we try and focus on eliminating those types of things. Then we also have Tier 2 and Tier 3, which are specific to the students that we case manage. So any school that we go into, we case manage 10% of that school population. And those are the students that we work closely with, whether it's in small group or whether it's in individual sessions, providing that intense service that they need. So that's kind of overall what it is that we do to try and provide services. So again, it's a variety of wraparound services that we're providing to the student.
Very good.
Oh, excuse me. Hello again. Again, I'm the site coordinator at Columbia High School. And I know you guys can probably just think back growing up of maybe a caring adult that you had in your life, whether it was a parent or maybe an aunt, an uncle, or maybe a teacher. For communities and schools, we serve as that caring adult and advocate for our students on the ground as a site coordinator. For my role as a site coordinator at the high school, I actually do college and career readiness programming. We're actually trying to get students to be more aware of like civic engagement matters. So really being involved in the affairs of their community and working to think tank ways in which they can improve their surroundings and possible future. So it really connects with you guys because, of course, we know children and youth are our future. So if we get them starting to be active and knowledgeable about the things going on in the world, then they can possibly create change in the world. Something else we are going to also start implementing in our school site is some environmental type programs. So whether it's through recycling or gardening, all those different things, we just want to make sure our students are exposed to as much as possible despite their circumstance. So
Very good.
So again, our program, Communities in Schools, we're actually in the Lexington District 2 in Richland 1. So the schools that we are in are Herbert A. Wood and also Pine Ridge. And in Richland County, there's some documents there where you can resource and look at those schools. So we're open to take any questions, but we're really here asking you for your support. And it may be a new face and a new name, but we want to know that we want you to come along with us while we're in the community providing services to school. Ask you to advocate on behalf of our education initiatives.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Anyone here have any questions? Anything they'd like to add?
I need to ask one question about the clothes closets that you have. Do y'all take donations, or how does that work?
Yes, we do take donations. This year, we were fortunate enough to receive a grant that allowed our site coordinators to restock their closets, but we take donations throughout the course of the school year, because we have a lot of students that are coming through, so we run through that stuff pretty quickly.
Yeah, where I work, we do a clothes closet for teachers, but sometimes we get clothes that teachers can't use, like jeans and things like that, so that might be something good that we can pass on to y'all.
We would love that. And just another opportunity for the clothing closet is she mentioned that they do a college and career readiness. Part of what we do for that is showing them what it looks like and how you should look and how you should dress when you're going out to prepare for interviews. So that's something that we're looking at bringing in as well, having those items that are available for students, whether it's just for the mock interviews that we do with them or for them actually going out into the community to prepare for an interview.
Very good. Anybody else have any questions? Anything they'd like to add? Very good. Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you all for being with us tonight. At this time, we will move into public hearings. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes. Our first public hearing is final reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 3420-01-037 located at 116 Pilgrim Point Drive. Anyone here wish to speak to that? Moving on, item number 2, final reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 432305-011 located at 702 West Main Street. Anyone here wish to speak to that? Yes, sir. Please come forward. State your name for the record and your address.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Walter Taylor, and my address is, business address is 1213 Lady Street, Columbia.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Welcome.
Thank you. Is John Hanson here?
He is? Yes, sir.
It's my understanding that this was presented to the Planning Commission, I guess, last month, and the staff recommended general commercial zoning for this site. It's, I guess if you're aware where it is, West Main Street is US 1 378. You know better than I probably where this is. It's right across from the intersection of George Street. All the surrounding zoning is G3 or C3. As I asked Mr. Hanson what the staff recommendation would be, and he said general commercial zoning. It went before the Planning Commission. It's my understanding they recommended an office zoning. And I don't know if that's before you or what you are voting on actually tonight, whether you're voting on general commercial zoning or an office zoning.
John, I believe it was recommended by the Planning Commission that it was OC zoning, office commercial zoning, not general commercial.
Yes, sir, that's correct. It went to the Planning Commission, as Mr. Taylor said, with the general commercial recommendation. The Planning Commission felt like, I don't want to speak for them, but I kind of feel like I knew what they were thinking. They felt like the intended use for the property was office commercial was appropriate for that. And so their recommendation was office commercial, and the ordinance that's in front of you is to complete the annexation is, as written, has office commercial.
Office commercial, very good. So that's what we're reading tonight, and that's what was recommended to us by Planning Commission.
Okay. Well, may I make a plea for the original zoning?
Sure.
We are a custom and speculative home building company, Lady Street Builders. We've been in business over 20 years. Our most popular plan that we've built is a home design by an architect in Beaufort. Wherever we've built the plan, it just gets lots of praise. We built it in Saluda River Club, and it is the most popular plan there. They get more internet hits on this house. And it's only 2,000 square feet, but it's architecturally correct. in an effort to expand our home building business, particularly our custom home business. That was the purpose of buying this lot. So I guess it does conform to office use. On the other hand, I'm not necessarily paying an office price for this property. As you imagine, it's a little odd in shape, but it works for us. We can get enough parking there to satisfy the general commercial zoning. The surrounding zoning is all general commercial. I know of no one that is objecting to the general commercial zoning. It doesn't affect them. It certainly affects us and our value to zone it office use. And I fail to see why that would occur. And I plan to use it for the purpose requested. However, it would be a beautiful lawyer's office. It'll be a beautiful ladies' salon. It would be a beautiful bridal store, ladies' clothing store, all of which would require commercial zoning.
Very good. Let me just ask a question for you real quick. Were you at this planning commission meeting?
No, sir, I was not.
Okay, all right,
I did look at the video.
okay.
Yeah, it's very brief.
So you heard why they were not zoning it general commercial and they zoned it office commercial?
I believe I did, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, Ms. Manus.
I would like for John to talk to us about, John, am I right that you recommended general commercial? And the planning commission did office? And can you tell us the conversation around that, please?
I think they were concerned with putting a general commercial zoning on it and potentially it being sold or repurposed for something other than what Mr. Taylor is proposing to do. So they felt like office commercial would allow him to do what he wanted to do, and if something else came along later on, they would have an opportunity to look at that if it needed to be rezoned.
So there's an opportunity for Mr. Taylor to rezone it down the road if he wants to turn around and sell it.
There's always that opportunity if the planning commission recommends approval of that and council votes for that.
Sure.
But I felt like when I made the recommendation, it was surrounded by general commercial and was on a 5-lane arterial road, so general commercial was the appropriate zoning.
So all around it is general commercial?
Essentially, yes, ma'am.
All right. Anybody else have any more questions?
I have one.
Yes. Mr. Lau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Could you explain to me what architecturally incorrect means?
I guess my layman's opinion would be there's something pleasing about an architecturally correct house that the average person doesn't know why they find that house so attractive. And it has to do with correct proportions, correct detail, things like that, if a house doesn't have those sorts of features, I can show you pictures. It's kind of like a lot of other definitions you struggle with.
Thank you.
Yeah. I would like to say that surrounding this property is a church, and it's not currently used for general commercial purposes, but it's zoned general commercial.
All right. Very
It
good.
seems to be kind of isolated, but zoning.
Which church is that?
St. Paul's.
St. Paul's General Baptist Church.
This is Ellis Avenue, where the post office is.
Mr. Mayor,
This
man,
is- Yes, sir, Mr. Carnes.
what is your timeline for construction?
We are seeking permits now for construction, and I would imagine we'd start in October, maybe November. Yeah. The other thing I would leave you with is, I can always come back to a new council and ask them for a rezoning if that was to occur in the future. May not. Well, why wouldn't that council look at me and say, well, Mr. Taylor, you're office zoning now. Why should we change you? And that's what I fear I'm going to possibly encounter.
Sure.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. That concludes our public hearings for this evening. This time we will move into old business. Our first item of old business is from Councilmember Kathy Manis. Final reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 3420-01-037, located at 116 Pilgrim Point Drive. Councilmember Kathy Manis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Henry Vinson owns a parcel located at 116 Pilgrim Point Drive and has petitioned to annex the property. A single-family home is being constructed on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned protected residential, and Pilgrim Point Drive is an RL6 road. The Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their July meeting and recommended the same zoning and road classification for this parcel. I make a motion for final reading approval.
Councilmember Manis makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Lyle seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of old business is from Councilmember Todd Carnes. Final reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 4323-05-011, located at 702 West Main Street. Councilmember Carnes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Marshall Davis owns .69 acres located at 702 West Main Street and has petitioned to annex the property. A custom home builder is planning to construct a model home / sales office on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned general commercial, and West Main Street is classified as an arterial road. The Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their July meeting and recommended office commercial zoning for the property and arterial road classification for West Main Street. Mr. Mayor, for purposes of discussion, I will make a motion for final reading approval. I do have some comments.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Carnes. Mr. Carnes makes a motion. Do I have a second? Hearing no second, that motion fails. Mr. Carnes, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Well, yeah, what I was just going to add, but with the motion failing, I just wanted to ask by what process we could re-review this. Wasn't at the Planning Commission meeting. I've been traveling. I'm not sure of everything that's there, and our Planning Commission is ultimately skilled at these things, but I just need to understand that a little more, because this gentleman's argument to me seems compelling at face value, but I don't discount the fact that I'm missing something there. But I can't find anything but general commercial all around this property, so I just don't understand what I don't understand right there. And so I would like to make a recommendation that we at least ask Planning Commission to re-review this to make sure that we're getting this right, unless I'm missing something here. But it does seem like I don't know, it does seem like a compelling argument when you only touch GC, that you want to be zone GC. I'm missing something there?
No, I don't think so. Ms. Manis.
Mr. Hanson, I have a question, please. I know that doesn't surprise you. Thank you. So the Planning Commission is meeting Wednesday. I know the agenda has gone out, but if we return this to the Planning Commission, could they take this up on Wednesday and it could come back to us in 2 weeks when we meet again?
I assume we can do that. The attorney tells me we can do that.
And so this gentleman, you were not at the Planning Commission in July? And I wasn't either. I was on vacation. Mr. Williams was there, I think, and he's not here tonight. So, is Is it something that can be discussed again, or do we need to ask the planning commission to talk to us about why they decided to do that? I mean, I think in my whole 14 years up here, I've only voted against what the planning commission did one time. I do not make that a habit, and so I want to hear what their thoughts are.
I'm just making a suggestion. Perhaps you kick it back to the planning commission for additional review. Don't know that it would be a problem to wait until September. They could do it in September. That way we wouldn't have an agenda public notification issue. They could look at it again in September and bring it back to you in October.
I'd provide an alternate possibility. So you could go ahead and give it a positive reading with the office commercial zoning tonight. That's first reading. Adjust the planning commission agenda.
It's the second reading.
Oh, is it second? Oh, then I'm sorry. I was wrong. Yeah, but you could do it and have it for final reading and table it and have it for final reading in September because council doesn't have a timeline on annexations. Planning commission does, but they've already made a ruling, so you're not working against a ticking clock other than the developer's clock.
So are you suggesting the planning commission take it up this Wednesday and we bring it back in 2 weeks?
And ask for a member of the planning commission to come and discuss it as well at the council meeting.
And to offer this gentleman an opportunity to speak to the planning commission.
Yes, sir. It would do all those.
I think that's important.
And it's only going to modify his timeline by 2 weeks.
Can you be at the planning commission Wednesday morning at 8 a.m.? Yes.
Very good. I think that solves everything for everyone up here as well as Mr. Taylor as well. So I'll entertain a motion to kick this back to Planning Commission.
Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I make a motion to ask Planning Commission to review this on their next meeting.
Mr. Carnes makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Lyle seconds the motion. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Kick it back. At this time, we will move into new business. Our first item of new business is from Councilmember Steve Baker. First reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 5497-01-027 located at 224 Autumn Lane. Councilmember Steve Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Charles Harmon and Rachel Allen own 1.22 acres located at the corner of Autumn Lane and Christie Street and have petitioned to annex the property. A single-family home is being planned on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned industrial. Autumn Lane and Christie Street are not currently classified. The Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their July meeting and recommended protected residential zoning for the property and limited local classification for both roads. I make a motion for first reading approval.
Councilmember Baker makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Carnes seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Todd Lyle. First reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 3420-01-043 located at 311 Pilgrim Point Court. Councilmember Todd Lyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Good luck with this one.
Thank you. Jigna Patel, Himansu Patel, and Jamil Patel. I will leave some middle names out. Own a parcel located at 311 Pilgrim Point Court and have petitioned to annex this property. Single-family home is being constructed on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned protected residential, and Pilgrim Point Court classified as an RL6 road. Planning Commission will review this annexation during their August meeting to recommend a zoning and road classification for this parcel. At this time, Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion for first reading approval.
Councilmember Lyle makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Carnes seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Mayor Pro Tem Hazel Livingston. First reading of an ordinance annexing a portion of Lexington County Tax Map number 5432-02-004 located behind 210 Parker Street. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Timothy Perchetta owns a parcel located at 210 Parker Street. He is purchasing a parcel behind his home and combining it with the 210 Parker Street parcel. The portion being purchased is not in town, and Mr. Perchetta has petitioned for it to be annexed. Properties in town near this one are zone protected residential, and Parker Street is classified as a local road. The Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their August meeting to recommend a zoning road classification for this parcel. I make a motion for first reading.
Mayor Pro Tem makes a motion for first reading approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Baker seconds that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Kathy Manis. First reading of an ordinance to purchase property approximately .20 acres. Councilmember Kathy Manis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Town Council was asked to purchase a piece of property in the town limits that consists of roughly .20 acres. The owner is willing to swap another property for the subject property, so there will be no purchase price. The property will help provide parking to the downtown area. In accordance with the Freedom of Information Act, the parcel will be identified once a deed is signed. I make a motion for first reading approval of an ordinance to purchase property in title only.
Councilmember Manis makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Baker seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That's unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Todd Carnes. First reading of an ordinance to purchase property approximately .73 acres. Councilmember Carnes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Town Council is asked to purchase a piece of property in the town limits that consist of roughly .73 acres. The purchase price is $1,500. Once purchased, a portion of the property will be swapped for another parcel in town that will assist in providing parking for downtown. In accordance with the Freedom of Information Act, the parcel will be identified once a deed is signed. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion for first reading approval of an ordinance to purchase property.
Thank you, Mr. Carnes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Lyle seconds that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Steve Baker. First reading of an ordinance amending Section 31-02 of the Town of Lexington Code of Ordinances, Enforcement of Ordinances and Laws. Councilmember Steve Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Section 31.02 of the Town of Lexington Code of Ordinances deals with enforcement of ordinances. Currently, it reads as follows. All officers and employees of the municipality shall enforce obedience to such statutes, provisions of this code, or any ordinances, resolutions, or rules and regulations, or orders issued thereunder as may relate to their regular duties, and any other statutes, provisions of this code, or ordinances, resolutions, rules, regulations, or orders with whose enforcement they are properly chargeable, by any measures provided therein, by the proper report of any violation thereof, and by instituting such proceedings as may be necessary to such enforcement. The suggestion has been made to add the following at the end of Section 31.02. Where a citation is to be issued for any of the town ordinances, it may be issued by the employee or department indicated in the ordinance, or another appropriate authorized designee as determined by the town administrator. The change would give the ordinance more flexibility in enforcement. I make a motion for first reading of an ordinance amending Section 31.02 of the Town of Lexington Code of Ordinances, Enforcement of Ordinances and Laws.
Mr. Baker makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilmember Manis seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Todd Law. First reading of an ordinance amending section, I'm sorry, that's the one we deleted. I apologize, Mr. Law. I told y'all I was going to do that, and I did. Next item of new business is from Mayor Pro Tem Hazel Livingston. Ice House Amphitheater policy update. Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Mayor, at the July the 8th, 2019 work session, council discussed safety and security issues at the Ice House Amphitheater. A recommendation was made to allow stadium seats and cushions or small blankets, but not freestanding lawn chairs. The revised Ice House general policy included updated information for parking lots on South Church Street and weather procedures is attached. I make a motion for council approval.
Mayor Pro Tem makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Carney seconds the motion. Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Manus.
Walker,
Walker Brewer, if you could come forward, please.
so John, you're not alone. So, Walker, I know there was a concert this Friday night, I think it was.
Yes, ma'am.
Was it put out there that they couldn't have chairs this past week? Was that
Yes,
kind
ma'am.
of,
When
and
the
how did that?
shows- When
go
the
ahead.
show's list originally, we go no chairs.
Okay.
Allowed, and then about a week or so out with these shows, we tend to post a graphic that just has the prohibited items, and it lists no lawn chairs in that as well. We still have a few people at every show bring them, and we tell them they have to leave them at the gate.
So for the paid, even in the past, before we even started thinking about this, if it were a paid show, they couldn't bring them anyway, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is really for the free things that we put on.
Yes, ma'am. It just, speaking with Administrator Poole, it just cleaned it up. There's people always like, well, Thursday night, at the other show I brought them, but I couldn't hear, just clean up the confusion, some of the stuff.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Yes, Mr. Lyle. Hold on just a minute, Mr. Brewer.
Sorry. Mr. Brewer, my understanding when we were going through this was that the policy was to give y'all some flexibility to make adjustments and not be so overreaching and denying things. Does this give us that type of flexibility so we can, does this give us the ability to take it on a case-by-case basis?
I think this just blanketly just says no lawn chairs. Still allowing the stadium seats and the cushions, which, as people have been coming to the amphitheater have been a lot more popular. People have said to me several times at the gates, yeah, we prefer our stadium seat over our chair at this venue because of the way it's designed. But this just as a blanket covers everything, so it's one way for every event instead of back and forth a little bit.
Okay.
Very good. Anybody else?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Mr. Baker.
So being that this is a blanket policy, it also, it's a silly question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. So it includes the movies in the park?
Yes, sir, it would include the movies.
And have we had like large crowds for the movies to the point where there was not seating available?
We have one time with one movie that was a large hit, La La Land.
800 people.
Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
Was it
We
The
had
Greatest
900
Showman?
at The Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
It was one of them. I can't remember at this point, but it was one of them. Yes, people were turning away because of the seating.
Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir. Mr.
I think
Carney.
it's just worth stating that this was generated in part by our police department, some of their concerns about access, public safety, their ability to move through the park, and people's ability to evacuate the park. So it's not solely a comfort issue. It really had its genesis as a safety issue, and that's where this policy is coming from.
Very good. Thank you for stating that. I will ask Walker, because of this policy change, that we over-communicate that this is a policy change and this is the way it will be from
Yes,
this
sir,
day
it
forward.
definitely will be something we'll do as a generic post and probably boost and share it several times coming forward.
Very good. Any other comments? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Those opposed? Thank you very much. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Kathy Manus, donation of the Liverman Hospital signage. Councilmember Manus.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The Lexington County Museum has requested the donation of the Liverman Hospital's sign and cornerstone. If donated, a permanent display would be installed at the museum. I make a motion for council consideration.
Councilmember Manus makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Baker seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Yes, Mr. Baker.
Just want to throw this out there. This was something that was a suggestion or a recommendation from some of the citizens that weren't as thrilled about the Liverman going away. And so this is a great way that we can honor the history of the Liverman Hospital and also move forward with what we're doing. So,
Very good, thank you. Anyone else have anything they'd like to add? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. That concludes business for this evening. At this time, we will hear announcements from Councilmember Todd Lyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor mentioned many upcoming events and concerts to be held at the Ice House Amphitheater, including the market. I encourage you to visit the town's social media pages to stay up to date on all events and to take some time to come out and enjoy the amphitheater, to include the market. As was alluded to earlier, there's been a lot better participation this year, and it's actually been a lot of fun, a lot of vendors getting involved, and so commend the staff and everyone for making that move. As also addressed earlier, Planning Commission will meet on August 21st, 8 a.m., regular meeting here in the council chambers. This council will return for a regular schedule in September. However, we will meet on Tuesday because that Monday is Labor Day. It's a holiday. So we will meet September 3rd at 6:30 for our regular council meeting, and again on September 16th for the work session, again with the 3rd being on a Tuesday. Chief Green recently announced that the police department will be participating in the Sober or Slammer campaign, which started last Friday and runs through Labor Day weekend with a focus on DUIs. As Chief Green has said, always make the smart decision to have a sober driver to get you home safe. And I think that's been said by many folks and should be reiterated and echoed again. Town Hall will be closed September 2nd in observance of Labor Day. Don't forget the Lexington Police Department Foundation is holding their second annual golf tournament on September 16th. All proceeds will provide funding for needed equipment, unexpected expenses, and to pilot a new community-based outreach program. School starts back tomorrow, so please be mindful of children in your neighborhood and slow down in school zones. I'll reiterate that again, please slow down. It is not worth it. Let's be safe tomorrow morning, and we know that it's going to be a learning curve for everyone to reset their patterns with the school year. Thank you for watching Town Council in action tonight.
Thank you, Councilmember Lyle. Anyone else have anything they'd like to add?
Mr. Mayor, I have
Yes,
a
Ms. Manus.
request. Daryl, can you get the part of the Planning Commission where we talked about this piece of property that we had concerns about, and maybe send that, when they discussed it, send that to us so we can take a look at that? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything they'd like to add? Very good. Any public comments regarding tonight's agenda? Anyone in the audience like to say anything about tonight's agenda? Again, Pastor Brayboy, thanks for being with us. Enjoyed. Thank you very much. That concludes our business for this evening. Thank you for watching the Town Council meeting of the Town of Lexington. This meeting was held at Town Hall on Monday evening, August 19th, 2019. A recording of this meeting will be aired on the town's information cable channel 1301 several times during this week, and the video will be available on the town's website at lexsc.com. Without objection, we are adjourned.